If you've been on TikTok or Instagram lately, you might have seen some of these beautiful aesthetic images or videos with some nice text over top of it from these people called Faceless Marketers. And these Faceless Marketers, they make these big claims about how much money they've made in a very short amount of time. And if you comment on their video, they'll DM you and tell you how they did it. Sounds a little bit too good to be true, right? Well, if you said yes, then you're right. It definitely is too good to be true. And there's actually a dark thing underlying this faceless marketer. And we're going to talk about that today in this episode of the Super Fun Marketing Podcast. So, faceless marketer, or they're sometimes called faceless creator or faceless influencer, it's all the same thing essentially. And what it means, a faceless influencer or creator is someone who creates content without showing their face. Surprise! In case the name didn't give it away what it means. But there's a few kind of common things that tie this group together. So they're posting these very beautiful aesthetic imagery or videos on TikTok or Instagram Reels. And what they are promoting is, I say promoting with my little bunny ears, is marketing without showing your face. And sometimes it looks a bit like maybe UGC, so user-generated content is the same kind of look and feel as some of those videos, but it really has that same kind of aesthetic. And I think it looks quite similar to that clean girl aesthetic. I'm really trying to pronounce aesthetic. I'm really trying to pronounce aesthetic properly. I'm really struggling. But the thread that kind of joins these all together in terms of visuals is it really looks like stock imagery, or there's not like a face. It's not like a personality behind it. And you think about a lot of other influencers is typically it's the person, they show their face. You're buying into the actual person that is behind these accounts. And so what kind of sets these influencers apart, influencers in quotation marks apart, is that they aren't selling themselves as the character or the product to buy into. Typically you think about a lot of influencers is they are telling the story of who they are. It's their personality, it's their background, it's their stories, it's their life. And you really buy into that personality of that traditional influencer. Whereas these faceless influencers aren't selling themselves with their face, essentially. And I would talk about this now, faceless influencers or faceless creators, but the idea of a faceless creator isn't a new concept entirely. Not showing your face on social media as an influencer is not an entirely new concept. So there are, for example, popular meme pages or pop culture pages such as Culture Vulture or Dumois, however you want to pronounce that. Those are really big, not necessarily fully anonymous, but they are, it goes a bit more anonymous. Culture Vulture isn't super anonymous, but it's not showing your faces. So the faces aren't, or the creators behind it aren't the reason why you are following that page. It's more what it is that they are posting, what that's driving people to follow those accounts or make them become really popular. And there's a few reasons why people, as a general concept of a faceless creator, there's a few reasons why people want to do this. And I can see why some people would want to do this. So they want to remain anonymous, or they want to have a certain level of privacy. But recently there's been a really big uptick in faceless influencers of a different kind. So not these ones the more anonymous kind of ones. I'm talking faceless influencers. That is the product, that is the brand. Faceless influencers, that is the concept. It's not somebody who is a creator that is choosing to be faceless or not show their face. I'm talking capital letters, faceless marketer. So that's how I want to differentiate it. And I had a look at my good friend Google search trends. And around the end of 2023 and the start of 2024, there are huge spikes for these searches for faceless creator or faceless influencer. And it seems to be something that is gaining in popularity, which I will get into in a second. And if you haven't seen these accounts come across your For You page yet on TikTok or Reels, they have these big statements on these clean girl aesthetic kind of videos that say things like, I just made $15,000 in 3 days. And they will have this video in the background, like I said, that's very like aesthetically pleasing. And then they'll have some words on top of it that'll say like, POV, you're a shy girly and you want to find out how to grow a faceless influencer page, or something like along those kind of lines. And then in the caption, they will have often a CTA or a call to action, such as DM me to find out how, or comment below and I'll message you so you can find out how. And if you look a little bit closer, then what you might also find is that they will have Faceless Marketing or Faceless Creator in their actual username or their name on these channels. And then if you look a little bit closer, if you click into the caption, the little read more, you might also see that after their little CTA, DM me to find out how I made all this money, there'll be 2 hashtags that are recurring. That's what I saw when I was having a look, that are hashtag master resell rights and passive income. Sound a little bit suspicious? Dun dun dun. So I started seeing a lot of these videos on TikTok, and given how wild the TikTok algorithm is, it's not surprising that I keep seeing more and more of them, because I was a little bit curious, because I was like, hold on a minute, this sounds really suspicious. And they all follow the same kind of patterns where they boast about these really amazing monetary results, while the content that they're making is quite generic and basic. There's nothing that's really value. There's nothing that's like actually useful on these videos, or it's not even just like very engaging or captivating kind of content. It's just like I said, these kind of aesthetically pleasing videos with some text on it saying, I made all this money, find out how. And they also included in these videos like a kind of some call outs to the girlies who don't want to show their face online, or like the shy girlies. And they often like reiterate just like how easy it is, and that they'll share this secret with you. And it got my brain ticking a little bit. I was like, hold on a minute. Like the hashtags like master resale rights and passive income. And the master resale rights, actually, it made me think of something that I saw a few years back. And it was during the pandemic. And it was somebody who I knew from my previous life, my past life, someone that I knew from like around about like 10 years ago. And I know that they're not a marketer. And one day on Instagram, I saw them start to do some posts about how you can make extra money with this digital marketing course, and you can make some extra income for yourself by selling the exclusive rights to this course. And I was intrigued because I knew for a fact that this person was not a marketer. And I was like, why are they promoting how to become a marketer? Like, they're not a marketer. Like, why are they selling this course on how to become a marketer? And it turned out that they had purchased the rights to sell this course, and then were trying to sell the course to other people who could then sell the course to other people. And that is where I first heard the phrase master resale rights. And if you're not familiar with this term in this context, it basically means that they have purchased a course, a digital course, and they now have the rights to resell it and resell that content and with its name for 100% of the profit. And so, do you think this sounds like something else? Is this something else that sounds familiar to you? Maybe like a multi-level marketing scheme or a pyramid scheme? And after seeing these start to pop up more and more on my For You page, I did what any curious person does these days who wants to find out more. I went to Reddit and I searched up for faceless influencers to see what was going on. So here's a little bit of what I found. On one Reddit thread where someone was asking about these faceless influencers, someone called Hurricane_tortilla with ones as the L's. This is from 2 months ago. So this is all quite recent. These are all quite recent threads. These faceless accounts all post the same pictures and videos from a shared content bank, and they all post about making money without really telling you how they do it. My question is, how are they selling a book when they're probably not an expert in that topic? And who is buying these books? What happens after people buy the books? And then I saw another one, which is from someone called Fit and Strong 0926 from 2 months ago. They said MRR, Master Resell Rights. It's just as scammy as MLM. These faceless influencers are saying that they're making thousands of dollars every week by selling these courses on digital marketing. And when I was having a look on Reddit about these master resale rights for these faceless marketers, somebody mentioned this YouTube video from a creator called Hannah Alonso, who did a really great deep dive on this in 2023. I will link that video in the show notes. But what she found in her research is that some of the courses are charging around about, I think she said $497 to buy the master resale rights. And then if you're selling it on, you have to sell it on at a minimum of $497, so the same that you bought it for. And you can charge more, but you can't charge any less, but you get 100% of the profits. And the really strange thing is that these are like influencer or marketing accounts, but they aren't selling their services. They aren't promoting their own services or their skills as a marketer. They are selling a way to make money from these accounts. So you can't hire them to manage your social media page, which is like another kind of thing that you often see on TikTok or Reels, is people promoting their own small business as like a social media manager or a content creator for other brands or small businesses. But they are literally just promoting a way to make money. And there are a lot of similarities, and it must be the playbook that they're given, which is like how they run their accounts. Some of them give a few little like tips and tricks, but often the videos have no real value that you see. But they will have some basic tips like start a new account. So don't use your existing Instagram account. Start a new account for this. Use calls to action. Use hashtags like master resale rights and passive income. But there's a really dark underlying thing that is happening here. It's actually really sad. Like other MLMs or like multi-level marketing schemes, they prey on vulnerable people who are struggling financially and like looking for some more cash. And they often call out audiences like new mums that are like looking for some extra cash, or they tell these heartbreaking stories about how they couldn't afford to buy groceries for their family and now they can because they started being a faceless marketer, and like DM me to find out more, or like I just made my first sale. I can tell you how to do this as well. And it's really sad because at the moment, cost of living is a really big conversation. It's something that is causing a lot of stress for a lot of people. And over the past few years, like since the start of the pandemic, the prices of food and gas have gone up. Obviously, there's a few other factors that have led to that as well. But like these are some very real challenges that a lot of people are facing, and these schemes are preying off of that. And in 2023, the USDA said that the price of food in the United States was 25% higher than it was in 2019. So life is just getting more expensive and people are really feeling it. They're feeling that crunch. Like I said before, like they tell these stories about how it's really expensive to buy food for your family. And people are obviously like, that rings home for a lot of people. They can relate to that kind of message. And then this faceless marketer is being shown as a solution to fix that, or like, here's a really quick way to make a whole lot of money and like help your family and you can earn easy cash. It's really sad because these people, they're targeting these vulnerable people and there isn't actually really anything of value that they're selling other than just to join the pyramid scheme and get more people into this kind of thing. It made me think actually also a bit about, it comes up every few years where it's get 7 books or something like that. Do you want to get 7 books? Send me a message, send me a book and then you'll get 7 books. I can't remember how the thing was, but it goes on Instagram every now and then. It's like those chain letters, classic pyramid scheme kind of thing. And these people aren't marketers and they're not trying to be like actual marketers, like career marketers. They're just looking for money. And it's really sad. It's like the essential oils, MLMs that happen like every few years. And the sad thing is that what they really boast about is like how much money they can make and how much freedom they have. But if you look at their accounts, like a lot of them don't have a lot of followers. They like have these small accounts. They're saying how much money they made. And basically they've done is they've bought and resold this course. And when I was researching this, I saw a story about somebody who was boasting about how they had made $50,000 from being a faceless marketer, $50,000. But then they showed that they had spent $30,000 on ads to get this $50,000. So it really feels like you're having to really invest a lot. Like that's the catch. It's not just like a quick win. Oh, easy tip. It's like people are having to spend a lot of money like to actually get this money. It's essentially a pyramid scheme. And there are a few other kind of these like faceless accounts that pop up too, which maybe you've seen before. The UGC creators, so user-generated content creators, and they make money from doing like these sponsored or product placement content. But what they're doing is they are creating like this really beautiful imagery or showcasing these products and then selling that content on to the brands. Or there are affiliate marketers who are showing off their different purchases and then like they have a link to whether you can go and buy them and it's like their Amazon affiliate link or whatever. Or there are drop shippers who are talking about products that they created or like that they like really promote, but then they actually are the ones that are selling the product. So there are a few of these kind of things popping up where they're almost like marketing, get rich quick kind of schemes, but these people aren't actually selling services like as marketers. Like they are like, they're not people that are promoting their freelance skills or their freelance side business. They're just people that are trying to make a quick buck, basically. But there are a few things that I want to say about this as well, because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, these people like trying to get other people to become marketers. This is really interesting. What is this about? And they're not actually trying to get people to become marketers. They're just trying to sell on these courses. And I just want to say, these are popping up a lot more, and the term like faceless marketing is popping up a lot more. When I was researching for this podcast, I was looking on Google and I was searching like about faceless influencers, and actually two of the articles that popped up really high in the Google search. One was from later.com, who I love their content, and then the other one was from Forbes, and neither one of those articles like referenced this kind of what's actually happening behind a lot of these faceless accounts. The thing that I really want to emphasize is that the faceless marketing is like a term at the moment that is really being linked to these like the selling of the digital course. Like the trend at the moment isn't to make this really aesthetic content that you're not showing your face. Like the reason why that is becoming popular is because people are on selling this product and really promoting this like how to be a faceless influencer. That is what is driving this trend of the faceless influencer. It's not that it's, oh, I'm so cute and shy. No, it's not that at all. It's literally like there is this dark thing at play and it's like underlying here as well. So if you see this term like faceless influencer, like it is linked to this. It's not that it's just like another kind of aesthetic trend that is happening. If you do see these accounts, be skeptical. Don't just think that they're selling you like a course and they actually genuinely want to help you. It is really sad. These people are really like looking for a way to make money, and it is really sad. Be skeptical, do your research, and read reviews if you're going to buy a course. These days, almost everyone can make a digital product and sell it online. It's very easy to do that. So make sure you do your checks and don't just buy something without actually checking, have other people done it? Have other people found it valuable? Like, what are you actually going to learn? Is it actually just a get rich quick scheme for the person, or like a passive income thing that they've just set and forget? So do your research. These days, the comment section, Reddit, there are so many places that you can go to do research. You can ask questions, ask other people if they've done it. Actually get some real reviews from people, especially if you're going to be paying money to buy something, buy an ebook or buy a course or whatever, like a digital product from influencers. Make sure that you actually are checking, first of all, that it is actually valuable. I listened to a great podcast the other day from B2B Growth, which is a Sweetfish podcast, called Hierarchy of Content Bullshit. And I will link it in the show notes so that you can listen to it if you're interested. But one of the things that they were talking about is that there is so much content out there that is like pretending to be valuable or saying that it's valuable, and it's not actually valuable. It's just there's no real substance to it. It's not actually like educational. And actually there's a lot of courses out there because people can just create courses and put them out there that aren't actually really helpful for people and don't have a lot of value for people. Yeah, that's a really interesting podcast. They talk about a few other kind of things on there as well. One thing that I was really interested in is when I was seeing this is I was like, oh, like I did a whole degree like to become a marketer. I've been like doing this for ages to become a marketer. How are these people just doing these like quick courses? Like they just say how it's like just a few hours of course as well, and how they quickly like learn everything that they needed to know to become a marketer. And I was like, for a second, I was like really offended. I was like, well, what? Like, how are they just becoming a marketer in like a few hours? But they're not actually becoming marketers. That's basically like the tagline. They're just selling these digital courses. They're spending a lot of money on ads. And actually, what the video that I mentioned earlier from Hannah Alonso, what she mentioned as well is that they're actually in these engagement pods, or what she thinks are, she believes that they're engagement pods where people are just all boosting each other's content with likes and comments. And if you aren't familiar with the term engagement pod, basically what it is like a group of people who share links to their content within this group, and then they get the people within that group to comment on the content. So it's something that's been going on for a long time. I've talked about it before on the podcast, but back when I had my little gardening Instagram, so this was back in 2013, 2014, that engagement pods were a thing back then as well. And it seems like they're still a thing now, and people weren't in love with the idea of them then, and they're definitely still not in love with the idea of them now. And basically what happens is you get this really inflated engagement on these posts. So the people, like I said earlier, like the accounts have these smaller follower bases, but then the engagement on the post is super high. And if you actually have a look at the comments and the people who have liked it, like a lot of the people that are engaging with it also have like faceless in their name or something like make money with their names. It's not real. It's inflated. And I think that this is a really important thing because one of the things that I always say one of the things that I have talked about a bit before is about how influencer is something that is a really important part of a marketing strategy. And I think that when you are a marketer that is going to be working with influencers, it's really important that you don't just look at, oh, they've got heaps of likes, oh, they've got heaps of comments. It's really important that you actually have a look at what is driving that engagement. What is the sentiment of the comments? Who is actually commenting? Who is actually liking it? Are they real people? Are they bots? Are these other kind of accounts? Look for the kind of things that could hint that the engagement isn't potentially like authentic engagement, but instead is inflated. This is really important, especially as more and more people are starting to do influencer. There's more people that are like, oh, I can make money from influencer as well. So they are like creating these kind of accounts where they can grow in little bunny ears and create this kind of inflated engagement for these accounts. These faceless marketing accounts, there's actually something really sad and really dark that is at play here and that is underlying here. If you see these accounts online, be wary if you engage with them. Little warning, like it's not going to be actually anything super groundbreaking that they can show you. It's a digital course that they are trying to sell. And also faceless marketing, we might see these articles popping up about the new trend of faceless marketing. It's not actually a trend in the way that we think it is a trend. It's actually this dark pattern, this dark concept that is at play here. So I think this is really important because we talk a lot about how important authenticity is in marketing and also the power of that human side of marketing as well. Don't think that you also have to show your face all the time, but have a mix of showing the human side and being authentic as well. But don't be fooled by these articles saying like faceless marketing is the new trend and all these things about I made all of this money with faceless marketing, because it's actually not what it seems. There's something else at play here. Be wary online, do your research. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. But yeah, be safe on the internet. Look after your friends. If you hear your friends doing something weird like this or see them start posting some weird stuff, be a mate, help them out. Hey, maybe you should have a look into this. Yeah, help some people out. Be safe on the internet. It can be a scary place out there. But onto my final segment for the day, for the episode. So, things I am thinking about this week. No action required. Things I'm thinking about this week. No action required. Okay, I say no action required, but this one is maybe like an action required. Maybe I've got like a little hidden agenda with this one. But actually, at the moment, it's this weekend, so it's Sunday when I'm recording this. You're going to listen to this on not Sunday, probably, maybe another day of the week. But this will come out on a Tuesday, but it's a Sunday today. Anyway, that's not what the story is about. This weekend in the Netherlands, the weather was super warm. The sun is out, and it is officially iced latte season. And when I was back in New Zealand last year in the summer, New Zealand summer, I went to this cafe, and their iced lattes were maple iced lattes. Oh my God, they were so good. And nowhere here sells maple iced lattes. I make them at home myself because nowhere else sells maple iced lattes at cafes. So basically my things I'm thinking about this week is how can I campaign more cafes to sell maple iced lattes? So that I'm on this little campaign trail now where I'm going to just be talking about maple iced lattes for weeks and weeks because they're so delicious and I think everywhere should sell them. And like even I went to a cafe that has, this was like recently, I went to a cafe that has pancakes. So you get maple syrup like with your pancakes. And they sell iced lattes. And I was like, oh, could I please have some maple syrup in my iced latte? I'm that annoying customer. I never ask for like my meals to be different if what's on the meal, but on the menu. But I was like, can you please just put like some maple syrup like in the iced latte, like when you're making it? Or bring me maple syrup on the side. So then they brought me the maple syrup on the side and I had my iced latte and I mixed it in. And that's the only time that I've ever had that experience here where there's been maple syrup and the iced latte. So that's what I've been thinking about this week. Maybe it's an action required. If you haven't had a maple iced latte before, I definitely recommend that you try one. But let's just like campaign the cafes to make maple iced lattes this summer because they're delicious. Yeah, that's it for this week on the Super Fun Marketing Podcast. If you had some nice weather this weekend, I hope that you enjoy it. And stay safe on the internet. Look after your friends who are also on the internet. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Stay safe out there. This was the Super Fun Marketing Podcast.